This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mgmunoz.com. Welcome to Swinging Through Comics. Visit mgmunoz.com/STC for notes and links. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment to help me grow. So, I am reviewing issue 2 of Radiant Black. Let me see. The subtitle of it is Better Off Red. It came out March 17th, 2021, and I got it and read it March 18th, the day after that, 2021. So, let's see. The writer on this is Higgins. The artist is Marcelo Costa. Letterer is Becca, Carey. Logo designer, Rich Bloom. We got editor and designer Michael Busutil. And production artist Deanna Phelps. And cover A, which is the one I believe I have, is done by Marcelo Costa, who's the interior artist as well. And I'm going to make this review really quick. It was okay. I'm honestly having a little bit of a hard time differentiating for myself I guess I'm being a bit of a boomer, and I'm assuming political leanings and ascribing them to Higgins, and I probably shouldn't do that, especially if I want to just judge this fairly, and I don't want to be judged for my politics and the stuff that I write. But then again, the plans that I have for stuff I'm writing don't directly call out political stuff. So, like the whole thing with his dad being a boomer, and his dad, Nathan's dad being like kind of hard on him and telling him like, hey, I want you to work and earn pennies, not dollars, or pennies earned are better than pennies not earned, and things like that about his Drivr, his Uber analog, or whatever, because he wants him to work because he's like, hey, you don't have any money, that's why you move back home, right? And Nathan's upset about that, and he doesn't really want to do it, doesn't really want to put in the work. I don't know. It's a little... Nathan's a little hard for me to read. I think he's... Gosh, I can't remember his age, but he's around my age. I think I might be a little older than him. I've got a bunch of kids and a wife, and just moved. By the grace of God, we were able to make all these things happen. And I work for my family business, and I definitely get advantages. So I'm not pretending I'm not, I'm not pretending I'm doing everything 100% on my own. But I'm also... I'd like to think I come from a very different perspective, and I'm a failed writer / a writer who hasn't gotten off of his feet, but I've been working to provide for myself and a family, and I find it really hard to divorce myself from the similarities that I can see and feel between me and Nathan, and it's just very frustrating. And I don't know, it's a very, very personal story, but it's got weird quirks in it. Like his friend Marshall is super anti-cop, super white guy in a small, mostly white town, and he's like, man, these cops are constitutional rights. And I'm an anarchist, basically, politically, which means I don't like large governments because I feel like large governments trample on people's rights and take them away. If you look at things that are going on today in large Democrat majority cities, sorry, it's the truth, they have very large police presences, and those very large police presences routinely abuse the rights of the people there. So, I'm on Marshall's page with that, but he's just being a jackass to these cops, and I don't think they're really threatening him. But I also don't like the idea that Marshall is this anti-cop dude, and Nathan is kind of being set up against him to be not necessarily pro-cop, but pro-helping the cops, and the cop's like, oh, you gotta do it for your community, and Marshall's, that's a threat, isn't it? And Nathan's not really accepting that, so he's kind of a conundrum. If Marshall and Nathan were one character and their attributes were combined into each other, it would be different. Marshall's got this job where he sells CBD type stuff to people and offers suggestions for movies and maybe foods and experiences that he can pair them with, or they can pair them with to Leon. That's funny. To enhance their experience or whatever. Which is interesting, but then he's all anti-cop and pro, constitutional rights and stuff. But then Marshall is this dreamer who doesn't want to work, or whoops, he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't want to work, and I'm trying not to I'm trying to pull myself out of that, but it seems like he's trying not to work, or he's mad that he hasn't been able to work. He's been afraid to just do the work and get his hands dirty, so to speak, so he can bide his time and do stuff. And then by the end of the issue, he wants to resolve that, and he made a bunch of money investigating things, investigating this, Radiant Red. He made a bunch of money investigating Radiant Red so he could, potentially not even take him down, just talk to him to learn more about his powers, which was a goofball move in my opinion, and feels like very young. Like, it feels like a teenager. Like, this guy is so dumb and not genre savvy, even though he's a writer, but maybe he wants to write romance, or I don't know what he wants to write. Not that there's anything wrong with romance. It's, good effective writing, and, you can use it for whatever purposes, and it can be very effective and well done. But I have no genre biases, because I love children's television and comics and, tokusatsu and stuff like that. So I'm not judging on people's tastes. I'm just saying, it's not like he's involved in a genre that wouldn't give him, I mean, I don't know what genre of film or whatever he's interested in too, but Marshall seems like kind of a film buff. Like, I don't know who knows what lies beneath this. I know exactly what that movie is, and I remember it, and like I caught the references to it. And there's even, like, in this place that he's working, Marshall's working, there's a poster of Vince. It's obviously Leon the professional. It's a nod to that. I don't recognize necessarily all the other stuff on the wall here, but like, I'm somewhat culturally savvy and am a nerd about certain lore type stuff. And then in Nathan's room there's what's that movie? Memento. There's a reference to Memento in his room. He's got a poster in there or whatever, right? And and he's got one of Higgins' books too in there, Cowl. Anyway, but so, like, I don't know. I don't know how to take these guys. Like, it seems a little muddled to me, and it seems a little, I don't know if it's like trying to be too real world or too current or too modern day, and it just like feels bad because of that. Like, part of the reason I love the Sam Raimi movies, and is it unfair for me to compare, Sam Raimi and was it Joe Sargent? Is that the guy's name who wrote the scripts for those movies? The trilogy? I think so. Anyway, like, is it unfair of me to judge them against, I don't know. I don't know. Is it unfair of me to judge this against, the original Spider-Man, 9 pages in Amazing Fantasy 15? I don't know. What about the first issue of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man? Is it unfair of me to judge this against that? Done by, what was it, Ditko and Lee, right? I don't know, and I don't think so. I mean, he's putting his work out here with the big boys, and honestly, the Rise of Ultraman was way better than any single issue of the Rise of Ultraman was way better than this, and like, it was divorced, maybe because it was taking place in Japan with Japanese culture and stuff, and it was a little foreign to me. It was easier for me to, like, disregard some of the stuff that I feel is, like, I don't know, just the cultural milieu in this that's, like, holding me back from really being able to enjoy it. But I also just don't think it's that good of a comic. Like, it's okay. Honestly, one of my favorite scenes was when he's driving around Chicago trying to get information on Radiant Red, and like, there's a couple good gags in there, like the guy with the dogs and the blind guy. He was going to ask him, and he says never mind because obviously he hasn't seen it. But just like, I don't know, I liked that scene. It seemed fun. It seemed fresh. It seemed like, I don't know, but you know what? That scene didn't have anything about him. I don't want to work my job. My dad just wants me to work, and he doesn't care about my dreams, and blah, blah, blah. He wasn't whining. He was being very proactive and very interested and invested. And like, when Nathan was invested in trying to take care of things, and like, he was away from Marshall, who's like this like negative drag, it made things a lot cooler, and it was a lot more enjoyable. I thought he was a huge dope running into Radiant Red and just like coming after him. But I also wonder, like, what's Radiant Red doing? Like, is he lifting? Is he trying to strengthen himself, strengthen his powers? I don't really understand what he's doing in that junkyard, and that seemed pretty silly. I don't know. His transformation scene's kind of cool, though. Nathan's, that is. And then I don't really... There's a turn from... he's asking him how long until the cops come after you, and then the next you turn the page, and it's like, it's a good surprise, but it just didn't feel like it led up to it. Radiant Red has punched Nathan, and he's flying up into a building, and then he chases after him. Like, I don't know, I felt like there should have been a wind-up before then. It just kind of goes from 0 to 60, and maybe that's a good thing that it launches like that. It just didn't... It hit me kind of funny, and I didn't like it. But I also don't understand why. Like, was he way more powerful than Radiant Red? Why didn't Radiant Red... I guess he pushed him away at the same time that he pulled the money towards him. But I guess I expected he'd only be able to push and then pull. or pull and then push. Like he wouldn't be able to do both at the same time, but it looks as if he, in one motion while he's trying to grab his car, also is able to push away Radiant Red and grab the money and pull it back to himself, even though he didn't know it was money at that point. I kind of liked the scene after he realizes that it's duffel bags full of money, that he's shocked, and then he's kind of, you can see the expression in his eyes, which to me is a little goofy, but reminds me of Wall-E, and I don't like that. I also don't like the expression of Spider-Man eyes, which I don't know if I said that in my Radiant Black issue 1 review or not, but the expressive Spidey eyes doesn't work for me. Doesn't work in live action. It's okay in the cartoons because they're cartoons, and in the comics themselves, I know it happens sometimes. I still don't like it in the comics, actually. It doesn't, kind of takes me out of it. But here, it makes more sense. I don't know that I like it. He's kind of surprised, and then he goes to, like, kind of devious, and he's thinking about stealing the money, and then it looks like he's angry with himself for doing it, or maybe he's mad that, like, he's got this power, but he's holding himself back from taking full advantage of it and just stealing this money, and then he feels sad. He's a sad boy. He's going to give back the money. He does the right thing. Like, that's good. I like that. I kind of like the resolution where he goes to his dad and he's like, hey, I made this money doing this stuff. And, like, I'm going to make the time to write, and I'm going to, like, set my own hours and use that to make myself able to write. And it's just frustrating for me because it feels like it's coming from, like, a very naive perspective. Like, I don't know how long Higgins has been writing and how long he's been getting paid to write, but maybe it's been 10 years or something like that, and he's very divorced from the reality because, like, I am really stuck in a 9-to-5 type job where I can't just write all the time when I want to. Fortunately, because of nepotism, I can do stuff like take my lunches together to go buy my comics and then review them, but I can't abuse that, and I can't, get paid to work, and I can't always set my hours, and sometimes it's, real life and disappointing. Like, hey, I can't do this. I have to go work, or I have to get up extra early to go to work and things like that. So I don't know. It was an okay issue. I like some of the resolution, and maybe I'm just frustrated with characters who aren't, like, rapidly propelling through their arcs of being, like, the fool to being, whatever is at the end of that. And I'm kind of referencing the Persona series and the Tarot and all that stuff, and the Fool's Journey, and the hero's journey. I'm basically kind of referencing that. Like, I don't need stuff to be hero's journeys, but if it's going to be, like, I want it to have a point and I want it to propel quickly, because I don't know. But I feel like it was a good moment for Nathan and for the character and for the story. It's just like it doesn't really interest me. It's not holding me. I don't know if I'll get Radiant Black issue 3 because it's just okay. Especially if it and Rise of Ultraman are going to be coming out on the same day every month. I might just stick with Rise of Ultraman, or Trials of Ultraman, sorry, which is what I'll be getting to next. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Pretty much, I'm going to ask that you check out my review of Radiant Black #1 to see what see what I thought about it, and if you're interested in it, see what critiques I had for it, especially if you're, like, super into it. I'd love to hear your comments convincing me otherwise that this is a really great comic, but I just don't see it. And you can do all that at mgmooners.com/STC. There's a, like, feed that you can catch that's kind of automated, and then there's a feed that a page that's the /STC. The link to the automated feed is at the top of that, so if you click on that, you can see all the latest stuff as it's collated in, like, reverse chronological order. So the oldest stuff is on the farther away pages, and the first page will always have the newest stuff. And then I also need to go and do the discipline of doing every week, adding new stuff to the list, and then adding the newest thing to the very top. So hopefully I'll do that this week. But you can talk to me on MeWe or on Twitter or in the comments section of the video if you're seeing it there, or if you're catching the audio-only feed and you're in your podcatcher or whatever, and you want to pop over to the site, mgmooners.com/STC, you'll be able to pretty easily find my review of Radiant Black. Just type in Radiant Black or Trials of Ultraman. You can find me there too. That's pretty much going to be it. I do want to encourage you to check out my other stuff at mgmooners.com. I have a bunch of reviews of comics. I have the whole Rise of Ultraman comic, which I'll make sure to, I don't know that I'll link it here. I'll definitely link it in Trials of Ultraman. I have the review of all 5 of those issues. That was a lot of fun, that series was, and done by Higgins, so I don't know what's going on here. Maybe Matt Groom contributed, like, a lot to the story of the trial, or the Rise of Ultraman, or maybe it was a different approach. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the difference was, but there's definitely a difference between them, and I think Ultraman was way better, and I'm hoping Trials of Ultraman will be as good, if not better, than the Rise of Ultraman. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this comic if you're really into it, like certain people. Sorry. If you're really into it, that's fine. Like, I'd love to hear your reasons. I'd love for you to like try to sell me on this, because it's not doing the work itself to sell me on it. So yeah, that's too bad. I also have I will attach this here. I think I have a script for a tokusatsu comic book. It's for like a single 22-page issue, and I'm actually working on expanding that into something bigger that I might launch on Indiegogo during Tokutember, during September this year. But then again, I have another tokusatsu project I might do instead, which is more geared towards kids, and maybe kids who belong to parents who are into tokusatsu and have children. I don't know how big that market is, but I'm one of the members, so hopefully there are enough people like me, or enough people who'd enjoy a kids tokusatsu type book that would be willing to enjoy that. And that'll actually be going up pretty soon. I'll have I'll be live writing and drafting that and sharing that as I'm working through it, and maybe sharing concept art or ideas that I have for it. And then I'll assemble it all together, hopefully, and have that ready for a campaign at some point later this year. So anyway, look forward to all that. I leave you with peace and blessings, and I encourage you, I pray that you would have the ability to be the kind of hero you needed in your most desperate hour. And with that, peace.